Hello and welcome to another Just Trying Things. I'm your host, JD. I'm also a small variety gaming streamer over on Twitch. There'll be a little bit more about that at the end of the show, but for now we are all about the music. And in particular today, it is the turn once again of Jinjer, this time with Kafka. And now I've been particularly excited about this one because I'm a fan not only of Jinjer, but also of Kafka. Highly recommend pretty much anything. It's going to be, I think, a fairly... Kafka's themes are pretty heavy. And something tells me that that is going to be the case. Before we get into it, just a little bit of a note on the format. For anyone new here, I will be listening to this in full, uninterrupted, for my first listen. This will be the first time I've heard this, but it's a reaction video. It is not the original content. It is not a substitute for the original content, and as such, that will need breaking up a little bit, and so there will be some lyrical analysis. That's the particular value that I like to offer in those cut-ins, and we'll be going through the themes of the song, discussing just my interpretation of what the song's about. And like I say, I think this one's going to be kind of a heavy one. Yeah, I think it's going to be very, very good because Tatiana is a fantastic lyricist. Right. Yep. Up we go. There we go. Hi, it's Literary Analysis JD here, and boy did I ever do first reaction JD dirty. Look at that face. Oh, I feel bad about that one. Oh dear. Anyway, moving swiftly on. Hardly in the spirit of the era, delicate and thin-skinned, one appeared in front of the jury, face uncovered against the wind. In this life unprepared, with a script unrehearsed, beauty of looks, beauty of faults, frightened and offhand, deaf to a command, anguish in an envelope of bliss. Whom to wake up in the morning, a Gregor or Joseph will it be? Neglected or abused, or wrongfully accused, or eventually, plague will catch me. It's about Kafka. If you've read some Kafka, that will help a great deal in knowing what some of these references are. But hardly in the spirit of the era. Firstly, so this isn't just about, like, clearly this is about Tati, so I think that is intentionally about them both. I think she really much identifies with him as a character. Feeling out of place is a big part of the sense that I get from this song, and that's something that was a feeling that I think Kafka felt very strongly, and clearly is something that Tati feels too. And boy, can I ever relate to it myself. I will say that there's a couple of instances that are outside of my own sphere of knowing Kafka's work, but it's a couple that are definitely in. In this life unprepared, with a script unrehearsed, it's, you know, that's true for everyone. That's worth bringing up. Some people, I think, feel much more aware of it for themselves than others. Beauty of looks, beauty of faults. I quite like beauty of faults. I think that's my feeling with that line is that she's talking about Kafka's faults with which that she finds beautiful, probably through identification with them. There's beauty in feeling that you're not alone, that you connect with someone. In this case, across history, you know, frightened and offhand, deaf to a command, anguish in an envelope of bliss. I like that line as well. That's really nice. It's. I think it talks about the beauty of the expression of those feelings of anguish. A Gregor or a Joseph will it be? Sorry, whom to wake up in the morning? A Gregor or a Joseph will it be? Neglected and abused, or wrongfully accused, or eventually plague will catch me. Gregor there is going to be Gregor Samsa, of the Metamorphosis story. I don't want to spoil it for anyone who hasn't read it, but he wakes up as a cockroach. That's the beginning of the story. And then the rest is just, you know, about his experience. From there, it's better than it sounds. If you haven't read it, it's better than it sounds. Please, do yourself a favour and give it a try. Joseph, I think, is from the trial, but I haven't read the trial. But the only novel of his I've read is The Castle. And I think the thing that those two stories have in common, from what I gather of the trial, is that they're both very much about, you know, an individual faced with just an unknowable sort of corporate machine type situation. Not necessarily as a company, but like corporate in the sense of it's constructed of the many. And is too opaque for any individual to stand any chance. The gist of the trial, I think, is that he's accused of a crime that he doesn't even know what it is, and therefore how to defend himself. Gregor Samsa experiences this sort of loss of himself. And again, there's definitely a shadow of a world outside that he can never really, that probably never really accepted him as he was, but that demands a great deal of him, but is unwilling to accept him at the same time. There's a good amount of discussion as to whether this is intentional about metamorphosis. Many will say that it is intended to be just a kind of an absurd image, and that sort of plays out in this kind of darkly comic way. Myself, I think whether he intended it to be or not, I think it functions as one of the finest allegories for mental illness that you're gonna find. And especially if you think about when it was written and the world's response to it, how that kind of thing was treated, how people would be treated who were experiencing particularly depression and anxiety that Kafka was known to have suffered from quite seriously, which again I think is something that Tatiana unfortunately can relate to, and wouldn't you know it. Likewise. Anyway, not so much anxiety, but maybe that was just the lens through which I was reading it at the time. But this opening couple of verses and are a combination of praising of the work and of just relating to it. She's talking about why she feels the way she does when she reads Kafka, and other than just enjoying the strangeness, there's an otherworldliness, but with an emotional groundedness in it, by which I mean it feels very true to life, even when it is clearly absurd. Which, of course, is the point. Because, as we shall see, life is absurd. While others see to the horizon, I can see just beyond. I'm microdosing hell, staying under a blissful spell. My vision drinks up the ink I dip my eyes in. You came into the world unloved, but love has found you through a word. Cupid pierced your chest with a nib. The void will bleed with inks. The void will bleed with inks. First thing I want to say, just at that last part, and it's less lyrical, but it's such an unresolved note that she leaves that on. The void will bleed with inks. When I was trying to find the point to pause it, it kept kind of just really niggling at me, and it just, in a good way. This is interesting. The while others see to the horizon, I can see just beyond. I like that it's just beyond as well. I'll come back to that, but like this idea that you see, I think most people would style this more as I see deeper rather than further. But I think the reason it's further is because it's seeing a little bit more of life. It's like seeing that it's seeing that it isn't just small examples of absurdity. It is that those are just examples. It is seeing beyond the horizon, that it's all absurd. The reason it's just beyond, to me, I don't know if this is intentional, but to me, I think Kafka never thought very much of himself. He was profoundly unhappy with himself. And I think the reason it's only just beyond the horizon is because it's just not getting too big-headed. It's not saying, it's not acting like you're superior in some grand way. It's just, I just see a little bit further. I'm microdosing hell, staying under a blissful spell. That's just about reading it. That's just the experience of reading Kafka. I'm microdosing hell. You're good at getting that little taste of the awfulness through the text. But it is a blissful spell. because it is brilliantly written, and Kafka is often very, very funny, along with how dark the themes are. He writes with an amazing amount of wit and personality. It's all wrapped up in the idea of absurdity because it's something that you just have to laugh at. Because absurdity is like that. Like, absurd comedy. It's like so much of what we... So many of the examples of absurdism that we could cite are comedic. And while Kafka isn't comedic per se, you do have to laugh at a lot of it. My vision drinks up the ink I dip my eyes in. You came into the world unloved, but love has found you through a word. Great stuff. You didn't feel love in your lifetime, but through your work, you are loved. Cupid pierced your chest with nibs. The void will bleed with inks. The writing connects you to the world, to love. Lovely imagery there, Tatty. Lovely imagery. And then it gets heavy. Here's where, in classic Jinjer fashion, the music builds to express the darkness of these feelings and the intensity. We're no longer enjoying reading a good book. We are deep in the feelings that connect us to the awful stories that Kafka tells. Absurd of my existence. I'm aching through persistence. The pen will slit the heart. The pen will slit the heart. The void will bleed das Nichts. Kafka, of course, writing in German, and Tatty showing off yet another language. I showed my bare face. It was ripped off like a mask as they stepped upon a throat of my own song. Unmasking comes in price. All that pure is compromised. In exclusion I cement myself, alas. Now I am just a ghost in the... And I'm going to stop there a second. This is another one of those times where Tatty's talking about her vulnerability and how much it hurts to express so much of herself, I think. My bare face was ripped off like a mask as they stepped upon a throat of my own song. The emotional pain of putting your pain out there and expressing these deep parts of yourself, the horror of giving so much, and not just so much of yourself, but so much of your hardest to deal with thoughts and feelings onto paper. Unmasking comes in price. All that pure is compromised. In exclusion I cement myself, alas. She feels separate, feels apart from the world. Again, such a strong theme with Kafka. Metamorphosis especially, I think, because it's true in all of the others that I've read. Not all of the others. I've read quite a few of his short stories that have quite a few different themes, but that's by the by. In terms of what the sort of classically Kafka-esque themes, the castle, and from what I can judge without having read it, the trial, are very much the character portrayed feels like they're a normal person and it's the world around them that's crazy. Whereas in Metamorphosis, Gregor is not well. And it's that there's a difference in how that exclusion feels. That you are very much excluded in the castle, but you're excluded from something that you almost don't want to be a part of. It only hurts because you can't get what you need. Whereas in Metamorphosis, it hurts emotionally a lot more, I think. Now I'm just a ghost at the attic. Do not get me started. I have a whole thing about that. It's like one of my classic internal metaphors for my own feelings, and particularly of a certain time in my life. The world has shut me down, but it's more than just fine. Not everything has purpose. Nothing happens for a reason. How absurd, what a treason for a man. We are lonely, don't feel sorry. And at night when there's no glory, laugh without interruption to cough blood. It's the... we're laughing without interruption. It is the underlying joke of existence. Absurdity. Nothing happens for a reason. Nothing means anything. One could argue that that in itself means everything. Then again, I'm also something of a postmodernist, which has exactly the same problem, but I digress. We are lonely. We, collectively. I don't know there whether she's talking about, still quite specifically, just her relationship to Kafka. We are lonely, as in, I'm lonely, Kafka was lonely. We share that loneliness in common. Or if that still is a broader statement that everyone is lonely. I'm taking it to mean the latter, the broader statement, because it is coming on the heels of not everything has purpose, nothing happens for a reason. It feels much more at this point like it's talking about a broader sense of the world. And so that's how I'm reading that, is that we are all lonely. And at night when there's no glory, laugh without interruption. To cough blood. Laugh and laugh at the absurdity of it all. Laugh so hard that you cough up blood. Because what else are you gonna do? Oh, get it, blood! Yeah, that's a lot. It was always going to be. It's another one that, like, sonically, just it really builds in weight, which I think really works for its themes. One of the great things about Jinjer is that there is a great marriage between the lyrical themes of a song and its sonic tone, and the classic example that everyone's kind of go to is in Pisces, where obviously it's got the gentleness and then it cuts to the harshness, and it is thematic when it happens. It is expressive when it cuts between the two. Exploring Kafka's themes of absurdism, depression, despair, disconnection. I really liked that. I'll be listening to that a lot. And again, as I said on Someone's Daughter, my personal favourite Jinjer mode tends to be the ones where there is more of a kind of a progression. I love their all-out heavy stuff, but I love the exploration as a prog guy as well. That's what engages me the most. This was great. I'm sure that Lyrical JD is going to have stepped in and had plenty to say on this one. That'll about wrap us up for today. Thank you very much for watching. If you have enjoyed this and want to come hang out with me while I play video games, twitch.tv/JDTellingcast is the place to do that. Other than that, as we're all done here, you know how to use YouTube, I am sure. If you like it, like it. If you want more, subscribe. If you want to say something about it, leave a comment around about now. There'll be some places for you to click if you want more and don't want to wait. Thanks very much for watching. This has been really good. I'm really looking forward to having recorded all of my Jinjer reactions, and I can actually listen to the album all the way through. I can't believe I've left it this long. Cheers again. Have a good one. Ta-da.